All right, this is Johnny Herms down here at Shenanigans, the great Shenanigans of downtown Sacramento. Here with Edisun. Man, finally here to make it.
Yeah, what's up? Finally here.
Is that recording?
Yeah, it's been recording all the
the
time.
whole sushi thing?
Oh yeah. That's why I kind of reached over. I was like, whatever.
Tell me about the mountains, Ethan.
We saw some great mountains today that were impassable yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
They closed 80 and Highway 50, which are the two main roads to get to Sacramento from Reno. And 80 was still closed. Actually, they closed a larger section this morning, but we made it through going a little bit south on Highway 50, and it was really spectacular.
So you did you have to backtrack a little bit to get back?
We did.
Because you were aiming on the 80, right?
Yep, we were it was a straight shot from 80, but we took 395 south to 50, and then which ended up being great for us because we got to see
Lake Tahoe.
the southern part of Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the
Todd
most scenic.
informed me today that it's the second deepest lake in the country. I don't know if you knew that.
There you go. Wow.
How deep is it?
17. That's what I said.
100.
I don't know.
Deeper than a wish.
It's not that deep.
Under 2,000, above 1,500.
Yes,
I think it's 17.
Give or take 500.
Couple leagues. That's all you gotta say.
But yeah, so we made it today. It was huge amounts of snow on the side of the road and breathtaking views.
You guys were saying earlier that you're pretty much battling storm to storm to storm through this tour, right?
We did 10 mountain passes to get to Sacramento in the last 4 days. We went from, because we had a show in I guess it was 5 days. We had a show in Billings, Montana.
Yeah.
And then we had a show in Great Falls, Montana. Then we had a show in Spokane, Washington, which you have to drive through Idaho to get to that. So there was about 4 or 5 passes just to get to that show. And then we decided, and the only real way to get down to Reno was these kind of back highways through Oregon, or Oregon as they would say. And we drove through Oregon, and that's the second time, and through that entire state. And we've been everywhere in the country, but that state is definitely the most desolate state I've ever been through. Yeah. There's signs that say no fuel for 200 miles.
Damn.
So
It's worse than Nebraska.
Nebraska seems like, a metropolis compared to it for some reason. But anyway, yeah, so then we made it into Reno, and we had a good show there, and spent some time in the casinos. And had
Nice.
fun.
So now it's good to be in a valley where there's only mountains surrounding, not going through mountains. Here. This is the oasis.
We feel like we're in civilization for the first time.
I saw my first flower in months.
Yeah. There's actually tall
like
buildings-ish.
Feels like spring. We got out of the bus and said,
There you go.
Palm trees. Good living down here.
Good old Sacramento.
Like
So this tour is the Revolt or Die tour. How's your accompanying band's been treating you guys? Playing along?
It's been really good. We went out with a band called Quarterfly to start with, and they're a cool kind of classic rock southern band, which we like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they were a lot of fun. Fun guys. It was actually a little bit too short. We only got to do a small handful of shows with them, but great band, good time. And now this is our first night playing with 847. So
We're supposed to in Reno, but they couldn't make it.
Yeah.
they got stuck.
We got stuck on this side.
Yeah, I actually interviewed them last night, and they were a little bummed about not being able to make it. I was under the impression that they were already there, and so I postponed that interview. And they're like, "Oh, we've been here the whole time." Say something. Yeah, a bunch of cool guys though. So this is a kind of a celebratory tour promoting tour for the album, right? The self-titled.
We celebrate on every tour we do.
There you go.
I'm not joking.
As you can
about
see, we're
that.
celebrating as we go on.
We're here because we love playing rock and roll, and that's ultimately the dead honest truth, So.
Yeah.
But yeah, our record is really, it's our first major release. It's still a very new record. We're still on our first single, Medicate, getting ready to release our second single, Too Pretty. And, but yeah, so it's,
I mean, and this has been like 5 years in the making, right? For the band as a whole, like
absolutely
playing, getting songs together, and then finally coming together. What was that process leading up to this album? Like a 5-year span.
Well, our first tour, funny enough, well, not very funny, but exciting enough and scary was in Iraq and Afghanistan. So that was the first tour that the band did. We were asked to go over and do some shows for the troops, and so that's really how Edisun kind of made its start.
Nice.
It wasn't really planned that way, but you know, since then we spent 4 years touring over 20 countries for the troops.
Wow.
All sorts of, you know, incredible spots through the Middle East, Australia, Guantanamo Bay, all through Europe, ships at sea, and it's been a pretty fascinating time. And before you knew it, 4 years had gone by, and we've been working on all these songs, kind of testing the waters with the troops, and you know, and had the opportunity after being out with Everclear and Cold and Nonpoint in early 2010 on releasing a record with a subsidiary of EMI.
Okay. So, as far as a crowd and you know, playing just like, you know, you're playing bars, you're playing regular venues, and then you're playing for the Army. What kind of changes that? Like, how is that overwhelming from
the
it?
Air Force. And
Oh,
the Marines.
military services. We'll say
okay.
military services.
The Boy Scouts?
Green Berets.
I don't know who you're playing for.
Right.
What team are you on?
Nambla?
I think I heard that.
Well, what's that like playing for all these military services?
You know,
So-
well, here,
Very sober.
I've
Well-
been talking.
I mean, I have ice in my mouth, excuse me. It was amazing. I mean, it's so hard to kind of describe.
Yeah.
I mean, you play a show where people know you and you've got lots of fans, people going crazy and stuff like that at home. You know, out there, it was like, for me personally, I felt like they're the rock stars. You know, and it was like standing next to these people, it's like, wow, you're like an amazing person, you're an amazing hero in all that you're doing, and you're out here and all this heat and this craziness and all that. But they need that piece of home that they don't have.
Absolutely.
And we were fortunately enough to get over there and bring them a bit of party and bring them home, a piece of home and fun for a little while, and they ate it up. And it was like immensely appreciated.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like this two-tiered kind of thing. You know, they really enjoyed us and we really enjoyed performing for them.
That's-
Also, from our end, being on stage is like in a setting like this. There's gonna be someone who's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go grab some drinks," you know,
Yeah,
like, in a
totally.
song, which is best life, whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. Or like, you know, they're in a conversation. There is none of that over there at all. There is no bar to go to, you know, or like, you know, go step out and smoke a cigarette. Or there's none of that. Their eyes are on you every second of your show. So you're
That's
like,
crazy.
oh, dude, like these people are really like, I gotta be on my game right now, you know? Like, it's not like, oh, there's just some people wandering around, and you want to give them like everything you got. Not that you don't in America, you know, but like, you know, it's just different because they're there working for your country, and you're there to just bring, like John said, bring that piece of home. So it's intense. Like, just, you know, them as an audience is intense, you know. So
That's probably the hardest thing to put into words is the fact of, like you said, bringing it to them, like bringing what they're missing, what they're sacrificing their lives.
yeah, I'd make a mistake and be like, oh man, you know, like everybody saw that, you know.
They'll never forget this.
To segue off of that, they kind of eased us in. We didn't really know what we were getting into. They weren't really allowed to, you know, disclose all the information on where we were going, so it was all kind of a big secret. So they flew us into United Arab Emirates in Dubai, you know, which is like the Vegas of the Middle East. And we were in this 7-star hotel, and yes, they do have 7-star hotels in the Middle East. And we were like, this is going to be the great...
Emirates Towers.
Yeah, the Emirate Towers.
Make up their own rules.
We all had rooms, and there was like people assigned to you, and just we thought this was going to be the greatest thing. And we were there for a week, and then they brought us to a military base. What was it? Abu Dhabi. Al Dhafra Air Force Base, and then they flew us into Kuwait on a C-130. And once we got there, we were in this holding tank of all these like soldiers and kind of lost in this huge area of military people and drill sergeants. And
What was
people
amazing,
lining up.
we saw the groups of the people just coming into country.
Right.
They were lining up. So these kids, most of them, their first time there, lining up, getting all their gear, their backpacks together, and getting into formation. And it was silly. It was like alien. just like in a way like the movies, but you're there, and it's a complete
Yeah.
surreal experience.
We were eating MREs. We were stuck in this area. No one was there to meet us. We got off this plane and we were just kind of lost, with thousands of soldiers. And to cut to the point, we after a few days of staying in a tent and hearing all these jets and helicopters taking off, our nerves were starting to get a little rattled. We took a flight into the most northern part of Iraq, Telefon area, and did a combat landing. I just remember John looking over at me and saying, "What did you sign me up to, man?" And the doors opened when we. First of all, you didn't know when you were going to land. There was no real windows. You're sitting in these jump seats, and the plane just hits the ground, and the doors open, and you're looking at the Syrian border with a few hundred soldiers with guns, and that's not anything we're used to. And we went, got out, and then found out that we couldn't drink for about a month straight. There's no alcohol over in Iraq. So it quickly became a detox tour.
Exactly.
But time of our lives, it changed everybody in the band, and it was a pretty phenomenal experience.
That's awesome. So with all this time before the album, you're playing all these shows. Obviously, the material you're creating is like just building by the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of one of the great things about our record now. It's really a culmination of all those experiences. And we had all this time to really, play this material on our terms and in a real positive way. And it just, when the record was, we had spent years and years was, when we were getting ready to record the record, we were real excited just to finally get this stuff out. And,
Absolutely.
Worked with the great producer, Claude Villani. He had been through all those experiences with us. He didn't go over
really?
with us, but he had been working with us,
Oh, okay.
in the studio during that 4-year period when we'd been over there. We'd come back and we'd be demoing songs. So everybody was very prepared to do this record when the deal came together with the EMI
Gotcha.
label. We were ready to roll, so that was exciting.
Yeah. So then, obviously, the next question would be, is there a sophomore in the near future for you guys?
Yeah,
Of course.
Always, right?
This one's so new yet. I mean,
Yeah.
they hear, and you never know in the business, but they hear a number of singles, so whatever that means. But we're just happy to play rock and roll and get up there and do it, and we'll always be writing and recording music because that's what we do. So.
How'd you guys decide on Medicate for the single, for the first single?
I don't think any of us decided. I think they decided for us.
You may have, I'm sure everybody, myself included, everybody has their favorites or what they think
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
gonna like. But it's funny, it never works out the way sometimes you think it's gonna work out, because there's so many different variables. So
Yeah,
you just try to create the best music that you can and get behind every song. And time and place really is what it's about. So.
Yeah.
I don't think we all disagreed with Medicaid at all.
Touche,
It's pretty
yeah.
rockin' tune, but you just never know. So you try not to get too excited or too attached to one thing,
Yeah, don't pick favorites or else your heart will break. So with the Revolt or Die, this show in California, and then you have another one, Fresno, right? Which is
Yeah, we've
next
been,
night.
this particular run that we're doing this winter is all Revolt or Die.
Oh, okay.
It's a great online magazine and very popular hard rock mag that we got involved with, and so we started the tour out in the Midwest,
Gotcha.
doing dates. And so there's been different bands. We've been out on our own for a few dates doing stuff, and now we're meeting up with 847. And so that's kind of been the cool thing about it. It's like they've had us all over these different regions working with different acts, and it's been a real neat tour for us.
And how much further does it go for you guys?
All the way back out to Alabama.
Oh, wow.
And up to Pennsylvania and New York City.
Wow.
So
It's
so
all the
we
way
have
back
ways to
home
go.
then.
Yeah, we got to.
Pretty much.
We're finally in the warmth. And we're done with winter officially.
I'm sure we'll be
We're all
bitching about the heat before we know it.
There you go.
Once we
Fuck,
get,
it's
we'll
so
get
hot.
home and there'll be
Fuck.
snow.
We're all
Yeah.
pretty happy about pulling into the valley today.
Touche. And then you'll be in Alabama and you'll be sweating and it'll be hot and humid and it'll be sticky in no time.
Our bus likes cold weather though, so he's not as happy in the warm weather.
Less overheating in the cold, that's
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
Or rain.
Oh yes. Thanks a lot guys for your time.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Edison, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Did
you.
you
I'll
bring
see.
your supplies?